In my local paper, The Scotsman, there was an artless interview when the captain of the Conqueror, his name was Commander Christopher Refford Brown, was asked, "Why did you sink the Belgrano?" "Oh," he said, "I didn't do this by myself. I'm a first-time submarine commander. I did it," he said, "on orders from Northwood." And Northwood was the fleet headquarters. Now, this was a totally different story to that which Parliament, press, and people in Britain had been told. Small lies tend to be part of larger lies. And therefore I began to ask questions. And one of the questions, very simple, was what was the position of the Belgrano when she was sunk? And then, by parliamentary answer, what was her course at the time that she was sunk? The answer was 280 degrees. Now that is west-northwest. And I then asked, were there any units of the task force to the west, that is nearer Argentina, of the area where she was sunk? The answer was no. So this was untrue. The submarine commander wrote his account in a book called Our Falklands War. The men of the task force tell their own story. And it revealed that for 36 hours he had been following the Belgrano. Now, if the 44-year-old ironclad, for such she was the old USS Phoenix, as people in Argentina know very well, was really a threat to the modern ships of the British task force, how on earth was it that she wasn't sunk on the Saturday morning? Because the submarine, according to the submarine commander, had the Belgrano in his sights when she was razzing, that is, refueling at sea. That it became clear to Mrs. Thatcher that the Peruvian peace proposals put forward by President Belaúnde Terry, backed by the Americans, had been conveyed to Downing Street. Now, Mrs. Thatcher, who is an absolute liar, this is one of her characteristics, she said that there was no indication of the Peruvian peace proposals until 3 hours after the Belgrano was sunk. That was not true, because I went to ask President Belaúnde what he had done, and he was very convincing about knowledge of his peace proposals being conveyed to Mrs. Thatcher. And the truth of the matter is that the threat was not the 44-year-old cruiser. It was in fact the peace proposals, because that would have deprived Mrs. Thatcher of the military victory that the Falklands War was all about in the first place. It was about British domestic politics rather than any care for those Falkland Islanders.